can see kuna mashine mbili hapa, but this one served the school since 1965 mpaka just last month, kabla corona ianze, tuseme by hii imekuja February 2020. So ilipokuja hii na hii sasa, unajua zi clamp zake zimekuwa zimezeeka, zimeungua, na hizi ni mpya. So nikawaambia sasa hii haitoi kazi nzuri sana, I need the manual ili fanye kazi nzuri. So nikatoa, lakini this is the original machine in this school. Imeanza na hii, hata mnaona vile imezeeka. We appreciated, ilifanya kazi kubwa sana, ndio ilielimisha VI wote. Kuna walimu wengi hapa wamepitia kwa hii machine, wakitengezewa vitabu kama hivi, na tunashukuru sana.
Hello everyone, my name is Edith Abuda. I am in grade 4. Welcome to our school, Likoni School for the Visually Impaired. Here we learn a lot of things.
My name is Elizabeth Ngare. I'm the principal of this institution. This is the Salvation Army, Likoni School for the Visually Impaired. We serve learners who are visually impaired, ranging from totally blind to low vision. We also admit learners from mainstream, a small percentage, so that we go by mainstreaming, this means the totally blind or the low vision should not just completely live their own lives without having learners from the regular schools. So we have a small percentage of learners who don't have challenges. Basically, this being a school for the visually impaired, our main media is Braille. This is for the totally blind, and print for the low vision, though our print is in large print. Now, Braille remains the media of communication in terms of student-teacher, because they have to do assignments and we have to mark them. So we cannot say that we can do away with it, despite being in a world of technology.
I come to the library to do my assignment and read the storybooks. There are many books here of different subjects. The Braille books are big and sometimes the dots have faded.
My name is Amina Ndungu, a teacher here, and we are in the library. I'm assisting my learners. They're here for a library lesson. And the greatest challenge with the Braille books has always been, these books are very voluminous, as you can see. In place where I will give my learner with low vision just one textbook, I will need to give the same to my learner with blindness who uses Braille, 7 volumes of the same print books.
I am Makinon Mwandezi. I was a student here and now I'm a teacher in the same school. Some of the challenges that we face in Braille reading is that we cannot get the books easily because they are not easily found in the bookshops. You cannot just go to the bookshop and get them. Number 2, they are easily worn out because of the binding system that it is used.
The other challenge is these books require a lot of space for storage. As you can see in our library, they take up a bigger percentage of the space we have in the library, and they are supposed to be stored this way so that the dots do not fade. When you store them one on top of the other, with time, the dots fade.
So the greatest challenge we've had is having expensive reading and learning material. Thanks to technology, because this material can now be turned into audio. So we have machines that convert this. Like in the office, initially, we used to have work only on braille using a machine that is called a thermoforming machine, and it could only bring the dots. Braille dots is something else.
In Spanish, thermoforming machine, lakini it is also called braille thermoforming machine. Hii imeandikwa braille thermoforming machine. So after putting the paper there, then we go for the braille paper. I put the braille paper on top here, clamp. Naifunga hapo. So after that, I'm now photocopying, making many copies. But this is actually analog. Unatumia one copy after the other mpaka kumalize the whole pages that you wanted. So after that, naleta hapa karibu. Now remove the clamp. And there we go. So these dots here now appear to the braille papers, as you have seen already. So kidogo moja ama rimu yake ni 500 ziko kwa rimu kama hii. It's a box like this one. They contain 500 sheets ambao ni hiyo umeambiwa ni 10,000 per rim. And we make the best. Hizi ni muhimu sana kwa VI kwa sababu waswa VI they don't see, and this one are tough than this one. This one akipapasa the time ameanza kufeel the dots disappears, but for this one ukishatoa hivi hata kipapasa they don't, so yani it's permanent this one. Alafu hata pia ikinyeshewa this one cannot even get wet. They are like plastic. So for these papers are very important but very expensive actually. So and they are the most wanted in VI schools. Most wanted. Hata hizi za wanazosema za embossed machine si muhimu sana kwa sababu hazikawi kufutika, zikinyeshewa zishakuwa TP, toilet papers. But for this one hata mtoto akinyeshewa the book remain. So this is very important, although it is very expensive.
Yeah. Technology has impacted a lot on education in this institution.
As you very well know, learners with visual impairments the education of learners with visual impairments started a long time ago, where there was only the use of touch as a way of accessing learning materials. But time and again, it has developed up to a level now they can access using the technology, they can operate computers. All what is needed is adaptation of those materials. So with the correct adaptation, learners with visual impairment can do all what others who are sighted can do.
My name is Hassan Abubakar. I am in standard 7. I love to come to the computer lab because I get a lot of information from the internet using this computer. I am able to do my assignments and research more on the topic given. I am able to save my work here and then my teacher checks it up. I am also able to access my work offline.
I'm called Jobert, the one in charge of this e-learn. As you can see, the lab comprises of just the normal standard computers that we do use in our regular activities. The only difference is that our computers are adapted in that they use a screen reader, a software which converts text to speech, visually impaired learners. And our learners do come in different stages to do personal tasks assigned to them, like researching on the internet, in the Google, on the YouTube. Some are doing normal typesetting, some are doing arithmetic, but we only ensure that our content, the content is clean as per the requirement of the Communications Authority. This is enhanced by the use of a centralized sophisticated server which ensure monitoring all the clients which they are using.
For you to be a teacher in this institution, you have to be trained to handle this technology. So all the teachers in this institution are computer literate, because we also have a computer room that it's an assistive device. Our computers have sound, so even the totally blind teachers, learners access the computer room and they can get information. You can Google, you can get any other information just like any other person. And these teachers have also been trained to use the Orbit Reader, the Dot Mini, the Victor Reader, so that they use these assistive devices to make learning easier for the visually impaired learners.
Teacher training for learners with with special needs and more so with visual impairments undergo a curriculum that is well designed and has the ICT integration, which is very applicable when they come to the field. As an institute, Kenya Institute of Special Education, we train teachers on adaptation and use of ICT integration in all the subjects. But then, during the practicals, they come and do the practice, and we are able to assess them and correct them where need be. And for sure, when they leave the training as teacher trainers who have undergone the special needs training at KISE, then they are very, very able to use the technology.
Thanks to technology, because this material can now be turned into audio. So we have machines that convert this. Have something else in the office that is called an embosser, whereby you can still command that braille work into software, into soft copy, and after you command it into soft copy, you can now print it out. This one is interchanging, print to braille, braille to print. Now we have other devices that have sound. This is now easier because when you are dealing with braille per se, the learner has to have one textbook every time for every subject and not sharing, because braille is about touching. So you cannot share touching with somebody else. You know, like in regular schools, you can have a textbook shared by 4. I remember when I was in primary school, we could even have 10 of us, all of you bring your heads together to read one book. But in braille, you have to touch and touch alone. So that was a great challenge. But right now, we have sound devices that have the same information. We have a Victor Reader that would have the same textbook read to the whole class, and you just operate it as a machine, and the teacher would go to class, command it, and tell them, today we are reading from this page to this page, and the Victor Reader would read that, and it's sound, it's purely sound. We also have the Orbit Reader and the Dot Mini. These are portable. These are portable gadgets, unlike the Brailler that was quite heavy as a machine and quite expensive. But you see, the Dot Mini can compress a lot of information in one small gadget that a reader can walk around with. A reader can read again. It is not bulky, you know. So technology has made it slightly lighter for us, because our learners could not go with the braille papers to the dormitory. You know, you don't even have where to place it. But with a Victor Reader, you just listen to it, so many of you, because it's like a CD in a radio. Or with the Dot Mini and the Orbit Reader, it's a gadget that you just walk with like a phone and can go back to it. It stores material, and you can read it anytime you want.
Bofia. The glances and joined in the laughter. By the end of the talk, both Marion and Joy wanted to be doctors.
With technology, all the voluminous information in the voluminous braille books is now stored in these tiny electronic devices called the Orbit readers and the Dot Mini. And now learners are able to access with ease all the information inside here. These gadgets uses a memory card, and so books are stored here and they are able to access. With the education for learners with visual impairment, we say if you can't bring the world to the learners, take the learners to the world.
Joy and Marion walked together most of the way home. When they parted, Marion walked fast for the rest of the way. She was almost running. She wanted to tell her mama all that the doctor had said. "Mama," she said, as soon as she saw her mother outside the house.
With the transition to the audiobooks, I can now enjoy my comprehension lesson.
Nowadays we are very happy of them because they are able to enjoy. When you teach them with the computers, they enjoy learning, and in that case then it becomes easy for them to grasp the content that we are teaching.
The technologies are varied, and some of them are online, free. Others, they have to be bought. For those that have to be bought, they are rather expensive, and this is where the government support comes in, and especially with the infrastructure funds. And for now, we can see the support. So we are just asking them to increase it to a higher level, such that now more of the technology can be accessed down up to the class 1 level.
The greatest challenge is the availability of these gadgets. Much as we have some of them, it would be prudent if every student would own it, because that would make the technology achievable by everybody. That is, if every student owns these gadgets. But you see, because we rely on donors, these are not gadgets that anybody can just walk in and give out. It has to be planned. We rely on donors to give us these gadgets. We would suggest that the government embraces the modern technology in all visually impaired schools, because you'll realize that sometimes you have to get out to donors to bring out these gadgets. The advantage we have in our special schools, the populations are not as high, so it is good to calm down and see what is on the ground. You know, it is very important if somebody knows what is on the ground. At the ground, we can give homemade solutions that target the person that we are talking about, rather than solutions being made from very far. So sometimes we can even have ideas that we can exchange with the people who are interested in giving us some donations, and we realize, because they get to us first, what exactly do you need? This is what we need. We'd rather have 2 of these than have 50 of these. Yeah? That one is more objective to this learner than this and that. So we suggest that they come to the ground. Anytime you want to deal with this learner, come, listen to their caregivers.
I feel good when I'm using computers. Just like my friends, I am able to talk with them about use of computers. I am not left behind.
I am digital.
I think they have done a good job, and they need that support so that these learners can do much. When we look at the alumni of this school, that is Likoni School for the Blind, we find them all over doing wonderful things, working on technology, supporting the others of their areas of disability, and doing very marvelous work. So with support, I'm sure they can do what is very, very unimaginable in terms of working without using sight.
Only one way for us to remove the limitations that are caused by visual impairment in terms of access to information, adopting and embracing assistive technology. You'll notice that with the phone, an Android phone, you can access all the information anywhere in the world. You can communicate with other people at will because it has applications.
Because the computers have come and they are helping them to be able to get the knowledge properly, then they can be anything. We say now the sky is their limit. They can do anything.
It is no longer time to lament over the faded past. Though it is important to remember where we came from, it is time to focus on the bright future ahead. Thanks to the digital expansion, I can see.
Join me in embracing technology for the visually impaired. Gone are the days when you could sympathize and say that this visually impaired will walk around with big machines in their hand, a lot of papers, big desks, a big world that everybody used to just sympathize. We are saying we are technology compliant, and the world has a lot to smile about gadgets for the visually impaired. We have the Dot Mini, we have the Orbit Reader, we have the Victor Reader. Name them. These ones provided to the visually impaired will make their life quite light because they will just walk and access information from wherever they are. They can now access Google like any other regular person and will not get worried of what is around them because they will have the knowledge and information that is current around them. Join me in embracing this technology.